Over the past 5 years, I received over 150 inquiries from people looking to buy a house or villa in Thailand, and I'm glad we've been able to clarify to them how to safely and legitimately own property in Thailand so that they can avoid making mistakes that could result in losing their investments entirely. And I'd like to share how to avoid these big mistakes in this video. I'll cover the 3 main ways of buying a house in Thailand, which is through a 30-year leasehold, putting it under your Thai spouse's name, and buying it with a Thai company. I'll talk about how to do it the right way and the biggest mistakes to avoid. And you can get in touch with us by going to my website, jetgunther.com. We handle a variety of budgets and service the major Thai cities. So while Thailand allows foreigners to own condominiums, it does not allow foreigners to directly own land. However, there are legal arrangements that can give you long-term, legally protected rights to use and control the land that offer many of the practical benefits of ownership. The most straightforward option when seeking to buy a house is to lease the land for up to 30 years. A long-term lease is different from a typical rental lease in that you often pay a lump sum up front for the entire lease period, and any lease contract over 3 years must be registered at the land office, which gives you much stronger legal protection. First, your rights are locked in for the full agreed term. Even if the property is sold, the new owner must honor your lease. Second of all, because the lease is on the official record, it's far more difficult for the landlord, or anyone else for that matter, to dispute or cancel the lease without your agreement. And third, you have government-issued proof of your rights, making it much easier to enforce them in court if needed. Now, one of the most common mistakes people make is simply not registering the lease at the land office. If you don't, the lease is only legally enforceable for the first 3 years. And if the owner sells the land after that, the new owner is not obligated to honor your lease. And without your lease recorded on the title deed, you have no government-issued proof of your long-term rights. And that means that in the event of a dispute, you'd be relying solely on a private contract, which is far easier for the other party to contest. Another big misunderstanding is believing that you can guarantee a lease renewal after the 30 years expires. Now, under Thai law, that was never the case to begin with. But the misconception became so widespread that the Thai Supreme Court recently issued a ruling to make it crystal clear that automatic renewal clauses in lease agreements are not legally binding. So the law caps each lease term at 30 years, and any renewal can only be negotiated once the current term has ended. So when you see developers market 30 plus 30 year or even 30 plus 30 plus 30 year ownership structures, that is simply a promise that is not enforceable by the law. The next common mistake is a poorly drafted lease agreement. Now, if the lease does not clearly define the rights, obligations, and permitted uses, then disputes will become far more likely. That's why I recommend using a qualified lawyer to ensure that the lease is properly drafted and your rights are fully protected. The thing is, you're already making a major life decision with this property, so paying a little more for proper legal advice is a small investment, in my opinion, that can save you from big problems later on. So I'll link to how you can get in touch with my lawyer in the video description. Another common mistake is not fully understanding the lease agreements and then doing something with the property that breaches the terms of the lease. For example, using the land for purposes not allowed, such as running a business or subleasing, and this can lead to termination. Now, if you want to have these options, then you'll need to make sure that they're clearly permitted in the lease. And once again, having a lawyer to review the agreement is crucial. Another common way of buying a house is to buy it through a Thai spouse. And while you two are lovingly married, it can seem like the best idea in the world. And don't get me wrong, plenty of couples have been able to build a home sweet home with a couple of kids running in the yard of Desmond and Malini Jones and live happily ever after. But what people need to understand is that in this agreement, the land is registered solely in the Thai spouse's name. If a foreign spouse contributes money towards the purchase, you must sign a declaration at the land office stating that the funds are your spouse's personal property, not joint marital property. This means that legally you are confirming that you have no ownership claim to the land, even if the money came from you. So that means if the relationship sours or trust is broken, you have no legal recourse to reclaim the land. So if the spouse decides to sell the land or mortgage it or transfer it to someone else, they can do so without your consent. And there is nothing you can do about it. One way to protect your right to use the property is to register a usufruct in your name. It's a legal right that allows you to use, enjoy, and benefit from the land for the duration of the contract. It can give you the legal ability to live on the land, rent it out, or otherwise use it for your own purposes. If you plan to build a house on the land, you can also register a superficies. This right allows you to own any structures you build on the land separately from the land itself. Okay, so I'm adding this part in after talking to my lawyer because there's an extremely important caveat here. So if you want to set up a usufruct or a superficies or even a leasehold agreement with your Thai spouse, in order to guarantee your rights during the marriage and even after a divorce, you must register the agreements before the marriage. Because otherwise, if you register it during the marriage, it will be deemed as a marital agreement, which can be voided by either party. So very much like a prenup, any legal assurances for yourself must be done prior to registering the marriage. It's an inconvenient truth, but that's the reality. Yet another reason to think twice before getting married. Next is buying a home through a Thai company. Now, this is a sensitive topic because a lot of people have bought homes using this method and have gotten away with it just fine. And I'm not here to call out or jeopardize any of these people. If there's a lawyer or someone else out there that says that I don't know what I'm talking about and claims that there's a way of doing it without any repercussions, fine. You can listen to them, but do it at your own risk. I'm willing to take the party pooper position on this, that buying land through a Thai company is very risky given the current environment where authorities are really cracking down on this practice. Now, before I explain why it's risky, I'll mention again that if you're looking to buy or rent property in Thailand, you can get in touch with us by going to my website, jetgunther.com, and we handle a variety of budgets and service the major Thai cities. So anyway, a Thai company where foreigners own more than 49% of shares is considered a foreign juristic person under the land code and is barred from owning land. There are exceptions where foreign entities can get approval from Thailand's Board of Investment to buy land for business and industrial purposes, but definitely not for the foreign CEO's private mega mansion dream. Even if a foreigner is the minority shareholder, if they effectively control the company, whether it's through voting agreements, financing covenants, or Thai shareholders acting on instructions, regulators may recharacterize the company as foreign-controlled and restrict the company from land ownership. Now, a company that is truly owned and controlled by a Thai citizen can own land for business purposes, such as for an office, a factory, or even housing for its staff. But the legal issue arises when the company is effectively holding the land as a proxy for a foreigner's private residence. The thing is, authorities can audit the setup, and if they conclude that the land is being held for the benefit of a foreigner's private use, they can treat the arrangement as an indirect breach of the land code that forbids holding land on behalf of a foreigner. The worst offense here is setting up nominee arrangements of Thai holding shares on behalf of a foreigner to bypass the rules. This is a core violation under the Foreign Business Act and is aggressively scrutinized by authorities, especially of late, where the current enforcement climate is definitely heating up. For all of these, violations can result in the forced disposal of the property and potential fines and potential prison sentences depending on the level of offense. Now, the reality is that there are a lot of foreigners who are owning homes via a Thai company that have been getting away with it. And for me personally, I'm not here to ruin anyone's life, so let's just live and let live. But going forward, for new people who want to buy a house, given the current enforcement climate, I just say don't risk it. Instead, I would pursue the route of a leasehold agreement or buying with a Thai spouse, or honestly, just buy a condo. Like I said earlier, foreigners can own condos in Thailand where your name is officially on the title deed. So check out this video that just popped up here, where I interview a veteran real estate agent in Bangkok to uncover some brutally honest truths about the condo market.